Yes, I watched. Nicole found this cute little show on HBO Max of all places that debuted last year called The Franchise. And
Okay.
as someone who's been in the film industry, I've never been in a film set this large, but I have been on film sets and reality show sets, and they nail the aesthetic of like the script super and the director and the first AD and the second AD, and if it's a huge production, a third AD, and how they all work together in the production to create these basically MCU-esque films and everything you have to deal with on set, which all stems from some truth. I'm not saying it's a one-to-one remake, but it stems from some truth. And I thought it was hilarious because on those sets, everyone has a specific job, and everyone's job is at risk all the time. And it's a chain of just command telling you no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, all the way from the top. And so everyone's basically trying to cover their ass, and everyone wants to climb up the ladder. But this show does it in such a comedic way, and it's so cynical, and it's so like it's so vulgar, and like I don't really like vulgarity a lot, but it seems all the actors and the writing, it feels so real. These all feel like real people really on a set trying to get ahead, or trying to do their job so they don't get fired, or their production doesn't get pulled, which happens a lot at that level. And like, for example, there's a great scene where he's like, okay, we're gonna shoot it, fuck safety. And he's like, what? And they're like, the safety team's right behind you. Let's be as safe as we can. I want to say it is a TV show. It's not like a mockumentary. It's a TV show. So you're seeing it from the perspective of the actors, but it's so funny. Yeah. And we watched the whole season in like 3 days, and we're like, oh, right. When does the next season come out? And Max canceled it. So it's only one season.
That's how it goes.
As a movie buff, you'll even appreciate it because it taps on all the stereotypes of like actors being divas, directors being hard to work with, other productions that are getting more budget, more time, because they basically compare him to, I think it's Zack Snyder, like at his peak, like he gets everything because he's next Zack Snyder. They make fun of the catering, like how he gets the nice stuff for caterers and they get like this shit. The crew's gonna mutiny. We have to do something. The exec producer comes on the set and like is like a piece of garbage human being, but then like all these characters have these small moments of like where they're human, where they're like, they have, and it's not all the time. It's just, it's every other episode. You'll see like this character you've hated. He's been a dick. He's a misogynist. And then like, he has like this human moment and you're just like, fuck, it's just a dude trying to do his job under the same pressure that this person's under. And he'll lose his job if that person doesn't do it right. And so it paints a very cynical, but a very accurate portrayal of a big Hollywood set, where like everyone is trying to just do their job and do the best at their ability, but they're all at risk of losing their job or having their production shut down if they go over budget or something doesn't work right. The stress of working in the industry. There's a great script super moment where they're like, we need ideas, and she gives them like 10 ideas, and they shoot all of them down, and she just throws her book on the ground and walks off. And it's very just accurate to like that set energy. Whoever wrote it has definitely been involved in big productions, because that's exactly how it is. Like, it's high stress, long hours, lots of egos, lots of arguing, lots of everyone's on edge. And the whole show, he's trying to go home and he can't. You never see anybody go home, because every time they try to go home, something happens and they get called back. So like, it's a great show. I was dying. I was laughing. It was so funny to me.
I mean, I love I'm always fascinated by shows and movies that are about making shows and movies. I always think that stuff is really fun, even going back to like old Golden Age stuff. So it looks good. A little ironic that it did get canceled before I could even hear about its existence, but
right. It's one of those things. It's just too much media, and like I didn't even know about it until Nicole showed it to me. Yeah. But if you like satire, Donovan, that's funny, and like also like it has its real moments, which is kind of cute too. You should watch it. I don't know if you have Max, but it's very good. I really highly recommend it. It's a British production, because they're somewhere in the EU. They're at a studio lot in the EU somewhere, because all the license plates are EU and the driver's wheels on the left side, on the right side.
Correct. Yes.
But it says a lot. It shows the perspective of a lot of the higher I would say like the top people who work on the set, which is your director, your exec, your producer, your first AD, and your script supervisor, which are the people who are there. Oh, and the assistant. The assistant is hilarious because Shane, the exec producer, has an assistant, and you don't talk to Shane sometimes, you talk through him. So he like relays everything, and he's like losing it, like the whole like he just gets, his mental health gets worse and worse and worse. And he was like, don't tell Shane, like this assistant says, like, don't tell Shane it's my birthday today. And they're like, oh, it's your birthday, happy birthday. Why not tell Shane? Because Shane will get mad that I didn't buy a card and sign it for him and give it to me, and then I'll get fired.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm not doing, the humor's very subtle. It's a very subtle, dry humor. So I'm not doing it justice at all. I'm fluffing it, but it's great. The PAs get like yelled at all the time. I was a PA, like that's just what you do. Like you're just trying to do your job. And
Greg's like, I've been there.
Yeah, they'll just yell at you. You're just trying to do your job, and they'll yell at you. Highly, highly recommend it. I really wish I would have known about it earlier.
Tell me this: it got canceled. Does it end like on like a cliffhanger or something? Am I gonna be mad if I watch it and then I'm like, well, there's no season 2, although the season ends on like a, you know?
I mean, it could be it kind of is a cliffhanger, but at the same time, though, most of the stuff is resolved. It's just the main story follows Daniel, who's the first AD, and he really wants to be a director. He's been wanting to be a director forever, and he keeps ending up getting these gigs with these large franchise movies that you can't really be creative with. There's a lot of restrictions, and like you talk about it and how they want to do things. And it's a very, like I said, like there's these little human moments in it that make it really special. And the ending has that little human moment that can end in a cliffhanger, but it's also kind of cool. And we're like, oh my God, we can't wait to see what happens in the second season. It got canceled, but I don't want to say it's a beautiful ending, but it's just a very human ending. It feels very real. And I mean, it could be because I spent 5 years in that industry. I don't know, but and it has the girl who plays Stormfront in The Boys. That's like one of the big draws too. She's great in this. She plays Dan's producer, the producer of the film. And like how you have to do things. How it's like the director has a breakdown, and when the director has a breakdown and you're on a budget and you're at this location for 6 hours and it has to be done, ADs have to step in and they have to make executive decisions. It happens all the time. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. But I don't know. It's just I loved that. I'm gonna watch it again because it's really great. It's not a lot of slapstick humor. Like I said, a lot of dry satire. Sorry, I'm watching. He's mad at the sound guy because he rolled his eyes at his scene, so he puts him in like he puts him outside of the trailer, and then like he has like a breakdown on set, and then the sound guy leaks it because he's the sound guy. Yeah. How did it get out? Oh, they all put it together because he was pissed off at the sound guy. So yeah, it's really, and a great diverse cast as well. It's a wide range of cast. I loved it.